Now, on January 6th, only a few months ago. The memory is still fresh for all of us who experienced it firsthand. A violent mob stormed this citadel of democracy, assaulted our Capitol Police, and tried to halt the peaceful transfer of power. 140 officers were injured. 5 people would eventually lose their lives in connection to the attack. I was within 20 feet of these hooligans. It was one of the darkest moments in American democracy, the first time the Capitol was breached since the War of 1812, over 200 years ago. And yet, not 5 months later, many on the Republican side are trying to whitewash what happened. Here's what one Senate Republican said about the attack last night. By and large, it was a peaceful protest, except for a few agitators, he said. Even calling it an insurrection, this senator continued, was wrong. If there was ever a justification for creating a bipartisan commission to study and report on the truth behind the attack of January 6th, the comments of that senator provide it. Republicans in both chambers are trying to rewrite history in fealty to or in fear of the former president, Donald Trump. Republicans in both chambers are trying to erase the memory of January 6th and perpetuate the big lie. They're now likening the mob on January 6th to a group of, quote, normal tourists. Anyone who's seen the pictures of them breaking through the Capitol barriers knows that these weren't normal tourists. They're calling the mob, not the police, the victims of the attack. We have dead and injured police officers, and they are calling the mob the victims? Only a week ago, the House Republicans fired Congresswoman Cheney for the crime of merely repeating the truth about the election. It certainly wasn't about policy. Congresswoman Cheney voted with President Trump far more than the member who replaced her. She was fired because she stood up to the big lie. It was a Thomas More moment here in 2020. And all of the shameful comments by Republicans reveal that a bipartisan commission is even more necessary than it once was. We always needed to look into it. But the fact that there is such denial, there is such lying, there is such obeisance to Donald Trump's big lie and to his fundamentally dishonest personality makes the need for the truth, for a commission, greater than it ever has been. For the sake of our democracy, it's crucial to end the poison of the big lie, to establish an independent and trusted record of what transpired, and to make sure an event like January 6th never happens again. Yesterday, the House of Representatives passed legislation establishing just such a commission with a strong bipartisan vote. 35 Republicans joined Democrats in approving the measure, defying their leadership, who turned tail at the 11th hour in an act of utter spinelessness. Last night, and now, just now, I began the Rule 14 process that would make this legislation available for consideration on the floor of the Senate. I just moved to place the legislation for a commission on the floor under Rule 14. And it is my intention to bring the bipartisan legislation for the January 6th Commission up for a vote. My Senate Republican colleagues must now ask themselves, are they going to join us in pursuing the truth, or are they going to cover for Donald Trump and his big lie? I understand the Republican leader has decided to oppose the bill. The Republican leader who called the January 6th attack a disgrace, who said he believed there was no question Donald Trump was morally responsible for the attacks, now finds this whole endeavor unnecessary. Of course, that wasn't always the case. In the aftermath of the Capitol attack, the Republican leader, Senator McConnell, said we needed a serious and thorough review of the attacks. But very quickly, the goalposts started to move. A few weeks after the attack, Republicans started complaining that Democratic proposals for establishing a commission were too partisan. When Democrats accepted all the changes requested by House Republicans, the Senate Republican leader said that his conference was undecided but willing to listen. But now, once again, the goalposts have shifted. Now the Republican leader believes we don't need a bipartisan commission at all. Let me be very clear to my Republican colleagues. There is no good justification for opposing the commission. The commission is not partisan. It'll have a 50-50 split of Democrats and Republicans, with subpoena powers requiring cooperation from both sides. It was negotiated on a bipartisan basis by both the chairman and the ranking member of the House Homeland Security Committee. It won the support of 35 Republicans on the House floor. The commission's not duplicative. The scope of the investigations into January 6th by our Senate committees are very focused. We need a dedicated, bipartisan commission to look at the whole picture. The fact that our committees can investigate didn't stop Congress from establishing a 9/11 commission. A January 6th commission is necessary for the same reasons that the 9/11 commission was necessary. The real reason it seems Republican leaders are suddenly opposed to this bipartisan commission is they don't want to talk about the big lie at all. They don't even want to investigate how former President Trump instigated an attack on our democracy because he was angry about losing the 2020 election and lied to the American people about the results. Even now, 5 months to the day after he left office, the Republican Party is still so terrified of Donald Trump that they are apparently willing to abandon the truth and the safety of our democracy on into the future. Maybe, despite the opposition of the Republican leader, the unfortunate and sad opposition of the Republican leader, enough of my Republican colleagues will step up and join with Democrats to establish the commission. They will get a chance to do so very soon. Now, on another matter, the Senate continues to make great progress on the modified Endless Frontier Act, now called the U.S. Innovation and Competition Act. Yesterday, we considered 2 amendments and added one of them to the bill, a bipartisan amendment led by Senators Hirono and Tillis. Today, we'll consider another 2 amendments. As my colleagues know, the bill itself is a product of at least 6 Senate committees and already includes input from nearly every member of the Senate. And, as promised, we are working in a bipartisan way, in a much more open way than the Senate used to act, to allow amendments and have debate. This is an issue where our 2 parties are working together with a great deal of cooperation. Down to a member, I believe we all want to see the United States maintain its position as the global economic leader in the 21st century. We all want to see America stay #1 in science and technology. It is so important for jobs, for our economic security, for our national security. We have an extraordinary opportunity to set our country on a path to out-innovate, out-produce, and out-compete the world in the industries of the future. Let's keep working and deliver a strong bipartisan result by the end of the next week.